Keir Starmer's brutality has quickly turned people against him, and the latest name to join the ranks of those opposing him is the legendary comedian Rowan Atkinson. Mr. Bean himself publicly revealed a shocking secret about the ruthless Prime Minister live on television without any regard for Starmer's power. This brave action is truly something we should support. Let's watch this shocking moment right now. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Even for those actions that were withdrawn, people were arrested, questioned, taken to court, and then released. That isn't a law working properly. That is censoriousness of the most intimidating kind, guaranteed to have, as Lord Dear says, a chilling effect on free expression.
From arrests made over seemingly harmless jokes to the tight control over everyday opinions, Rowan Atkinson warns that the UK is gradually losing its fundamental and cherished value of freedom of speech. He raises a biting question. Is Keir Starmer's vision of a safer society worth trading for the imposition of silence on each individual's voice? Atkinson stresses that freedom of speech cannot be sacrificed, especially in the realm of comedy, where the freedom to joke and satirise is the very soul of the art. According to him, the key issue is not censorship or banning a joke, but the ability to choose the right time and context for the story to be properly received. Not every joke is suitable for every circumstance, but the right to joke is inviolable, and the skill in delivering it is what defines the value of a comedic work. Rowan Atkinson does not hesitate to criticise Keir Starmer, accusing him of deliberately stifling the comedy culture, a legacy that has long been intertwined with and become a source of pride for the British people. Starmer's attempts to intervene are nothing less than intentional destruction, making him a symbol of the cultural decline of this era.
But now he's used his voice to attack cancel culture for comedians. As we know, in recent times, there's been no laughing matter for comedians because they always have to be careful what they say and what they're joking about. And in an interview with the Irish Times, he's come out and said, actually, comedians should be able to joke about what they want. Every joke has a victim. And he says, we're living in a free society. Why should comedians have to be quiet and be limit with what they can say?
It's truly astonishing, isn't it? Starmer has managed to make even those who would typically remain silent speak out in opposition to his absurd orders.
My starting point when it comes to the consideration of any issue relating to free speech is my passionate belief that the second most precious thing in life is the right to express yourself freely. The most precious thing in life, I think, is food in your mouth, and the third most precious is a roof over your head. But a fixture for me in the number 2 slot is free expression, just below the need to sustain life itself.
Rowan Atkinson emphasises that freedom of speech and the ability to meet basic needs are 2 fundamental factors that create a meaningful life. While these may seem simple, the harsh reality is that many people in the UK are being deprived of both of these basic rights. The person responsible for this situation is none other than Keir Starmer, a figure who has become a symbol of chaos and instability. He is the one who ordered the cut in winter fuel allowances, leaving more than 1.6 million elderly people living in poverty, facing deprivation and losing their right to warmth during the harsh winter months. This is not only an indifferent decision but also a cruel one, sparking waves of anger and strong criticism from all levels of society.
Pressures growing on Sir Keir Starmer to reverse his decision to cut winter fuel payments for the most pensioners. The head of Britain's largest trade union has accused Labour of picking the pocket of pensioners while leaving the richest totally untouched. The Prime Minister is facing a possible rebellion by some Labour MPs when the Parliament votes on policy tomorrow.
Keir Starmer seems far from satisfied, as he further jeopardises security and social order with his decision to release thousands of prisoners, allowing them to roam freely through the streets. This is an act that not only shows a lack of responsibility, but also disregards the safety of the community.
Of early release. I mean, what is the point of a sentence if people are let out after only serving 40% of it? One of the people released from one of the northern prisons yesterday had, wait for it, 109 previous convictions. So that person, I would say, is bound to re-offend. Well, I'm joined.
Rowan Atkinson has made sharp criticisms of Keir Starmer, whom he accuses of imposing illogical policies that undermine freedom of speech and cause serious instability in British society. According to Atkinson, freedom of speech and the ability to meet basic needs are not only the foundation of a fulfilling life, but also symbols of a truly democratic society. Under Starmer's leadership, these core values are being alarmingly threatened. Starmer's decisions have not only caused outrage among the public, but have gone further, imposing harsh policies aimed at restricting freedoms and controlling personal opinions. Atkinson views this as a severe blow to the comedy culture, a field where creativity and freedom of expression should be absolutely respected. However, comedians today continuously face tight scrutiny and even lose their creative freedom for telling jokes that do not please public opinion. One of the sharpest satirical examples Atkinson highlights is the absurd misuse of the law. He mentions the case of a man who was arrested for calling a police horse gay, an event so bizarre it's hard to believe, yet it happened. Atkinson had previously mocked similar absurdities in Knock the 9 o'clock news asterisk, where he played a commanding officer reprimanding a police officer for making a series of baseless arrests. What was once a comedic script has now become an unsettling reality, with modern laws seemingly exceeding the bounds of imagination. Atkinson not only opposes the abuse of power, but also condemns the growing trend of silencing comedians. In his view, comedy is a space where all issues can be dissected, and if comedians are forced to apologise for their jokes, the very essence of comedy has been lost. He argues that audiences attending performances must be ready to accept whatever the artist presents, whether it be humour or controversial ideas. As a legendary figure in the world of comedy, Atkinson stresses that censorship of the arts not only threatens individual freedoms, but also destroys the core values of art itself. He describes Starmer's policies as hypocritical and unjust, which not only create division in society, but also erode the peace and stability that the public has long cherished. Atkinson condemns the clear discrimination imposed by Starmer, treating citizens like second-class individuals. He calls for an immediate end to the senseless policies that are ruining lives and challenging the fundamental values of freedom and fairness. Atkinson's criticism goes beyond mere outrage. It is a powerful call to protect individual freedom and human dignity in a society rife with injustice. Switching to a different issue, although Rachel Reeves has been in power for just over 4 months, she has already left an indelible mark on British political history. Unfortunately, it is the mark of a female Prime Minister who has been turned away by her own people. Her failure to implement policies has led many to question, could she be the worst female Prime Minister in British history? Reeves quickly became a controversial figure, not only due to her wrong decisions that caused significant harm, but also because of her refusal to take responsibility for her own mistakes. The budget she proposed, marked by its cruel and thoughtless aspects, sparked a strong wave of opposition and left a deep sense of disappointment within the community. Even a month after the budget was announced, its impact continues to cause disruptions with no sign of abating. Even Kwasi Kwarteng, who previously executed a failed financial plan, took responsibility and resigned. However, Reeves has staunchly defended her decisions despite severe criticism from all sides. One of her most controversial decisions was the imposition of high inheritance taxes on family farms. While this policy could potentially bring in hundreds of millions of pounds each year, it became the last straw for thousands of farmers who felt it would push them to the brink of bankruptcy, create supply shortages, and threaten the nation's food security.